Binge the full week of The Ray Taylor Show ad-free over at inspireddisorder.com/plus.
This is The Ray Taylor Show.
Rayz Dayz, episode 147. This is a weekly diary podcast hosted by me, Ray Taylor. Every Saturday, I share updates on my journey as an artist, podcaster, business owner, and human. I'm excited to share my experiences with you and hope that my journey can serve as a source of inspiration and positivity for you. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about using projectors at home, your home theater. I'm going to be talking about the 111 night market, as I mentioned in the last episode. I'm going to have some updates on that. And as well as I do, and at the end of every episode, I'm going to be sharing something that I am thankful for. So let's get into this episode, shall we? Like I said, set up my projector. So back in like 2007, 2008, right? Let's go back in time. I finally got an apartment. It was my own apartment. Didn't have roommates anymore, right? All of my roommates from our last place, they all went in different places, all moved out of San Diego. And of course I stayed. I had a good job and decided to get my own, had a one-bedroom apartment. And at the time, before I moved, had like this giant projection TV, right? I don't know if you remember those rear projection TVs. This is like right before plasmas were kind of the alternative, and this one was before the widescreen. Like I got one of the last projection TVs that was like that 4x3, right? I loved it. It was one of the big purchases I made when I moved to San Diego. Got a good job working at Costco, right? Bought this floor display. I remember having a TV day. It was TV day. I went and rented a U-Haul. Had my friends make sure that they had the day off to help me move this giant TV up into our second-story apartment, the first apartment I had in San Diego. And that TV moved around with me to these different apartments, but it was something that I needed to get rid of. It was too big, and the flat-screen TVs, the plasma TVs, were a lot more affordable. So, and at the time, Costco had an amazing return policy, so I returned it. And I bought a 42-inch plasma TV, and which plasma heated up a lot. It was great for my living room. Loved watching movies on it. Had a surround sound system, which I've had surround sound systems since like DVD time, since like the early 2000s. So having the plasma TV with the surround sound system, I loved it. But then I started noticing, I was working in the electronics department at Costco, and I saw we started selling these projectors, and I got this idea of like, man, what if I just hooked up a projector? So I decided to return the TV, the plasma TV, and got this inexpensive projector. And I decided to turn my bedroom of that apartment into a theater room, right? I put the projector up on top. Like there was basically a closet, right, that took over one wall of the bedroom. So I took the doors off of the closet, and I put the projector up on top of that shelf that's in, a closet. And then, so I didn't have to mount it or anything. And then I had it shooting just onto the wall on the other side of what was the bedroom. Only had one window, super easy to close that window to make sure it's dark. That's one of the downsides of a projector, is that any kind of ambient light really washes out the picture. So had this projector, got this projector. It's like $700. It was super cheap. Not really meant for home theater use, right? Meant for businesses to do PowerPoint presentations or whatever. But I hooked it up, and it worked perfectly. Had that thing for years. Right? From that apartment to then moved into another apartment in Hillcrest, much smaller place, but still had this projector, even though it was a small room. I had like this massive screen, love movies. Started getting into MMA, loved watching MMA fights on the projector. Then I got my condo and had giant vaulted ceilings, just amazing, right? My living room in my condo, amazing. Had like this, 150 inch screen for movies. I sanded the wall down and painted it. Like this kind of light gray color that's recommended that makes it pop more, that makes the contrast even better. Had my surround sound all hooked up. It was amazing, right? It was by far the biggest screen, the best thing. Loved watching it, right? And then when I decided I hated my life in San Diego and sold everything, I had that projector, took it with me to Denver, and even in Denver, had it set up. Loved watching, whether I was watching a podcast, MMA, or movies, loved it, right? Finally died in Denver, right? I forget which brand it was, but it was just like some cheap $700 projector that I got, like, that lasted me on the one bulb, lasted like 7 years. And because I had money at the time in Denver, I decided, okay, instead of replacing the bulb, I'm just going to get a better projector. And spent a little bit more, got a BenQ projector, and way better picture, way bigger picture. It was amazing, this projector, right? And after I left Denver, it's been in storage since then, right? I've just watched movies and used a LCD TV that I had for my bedroom in Denver, and haven't been able to enjoy my projector. It's just sat in storage, and my living situation, because of how it started, I wasn't sure if I was going to stay here. I didn't really, like, a lot of things were up in the air when I left Denver. Didn't know if I was ever going to paint again. Didn't know if I was going to continue podcasting again. Like, I ran out of all of my money. Like, I was at the lowest point of my entire life. So thinking about how I would set up a projector wasn't really at the top of my list, but I did hold on to it. It was one of the things. I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of room, right? It's the size of, like, a little bit bigger than a shoebox. So I was able to keep it. Got rid of my surround sound, though. And then over the years, I thought about possibly setting it up in my space, which I'm still living, same place when I moved back to the desert from Denver. And up until recently, especially because, I watch a lot of movies, watch a ton of movies. I don't go to the movie theater anymore. I mean, I would like to eventually start to go back to the movie theater if I can start generating some more income to be able to afford that luxury. But primarily all the movies that I watch to review for this show, whether it's ranking them on Sunday's Top 5 or on the reviews that I put out on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I watch a ton of movies. And during the pandemic, with the unemployment and the added stimulus checks and things like that, I was able to upgrade a lot of my equipment. I was able to buy a Vizio sound bar for my TV that had wireless surround sound. It's a brand that I sold when I worked at Costco, so I know the brand. It's a good, solid brand, good price for what it delivers, good bang for the buck. So I got one of those to get surround sound back, which was something that I missed. My TV speakers were pretty garbage, right? There's a lot of, like, dialogue would just kind of be muffled when I was watching movies on my TV. And it was always, and like during the summer when the air conditioning's going, I always have to crank the audio up to just barely hear what the dialogue is. So getting the surround sound instantly made the sound better, obviously. I had forgotten, it had been years since I had surround sound. I had forgotten how immersive having surround sound was. So that was nice. And so I have the surround sound, very easy to set up. And I thought, man, I could easily dig this thing out. And I recently, because I'm preparing for this art event, which I'm going to talk about later, going through my storage, finding the things that I used to use for when I would set up to do these pop-up art events, these street fairs, I came across the projector in my storage. I was like, I'm going to dig this out. I'm going to figure out how I'm going to set it up, right? Get just like a sheet. I have a bookcase that I can just strap a sheet to. It's literally my background behind my green screen. My green screen is just hanging off of a bookshelf that's kind of a partition in a garage that I live. I was like, I could just get a white sheet to stretch over that and shoot the projector on that, move the sound bar over a little bit, and then I wouldn't have to really do much to adjust where the speakers are because it's just shifted over from where my TV is. Worked out perfectly. Went on Amazon. They sell these like cheap, they're like almost like spandexy material that you just that you can use indoor, outdoor. They don't wrinkle, and they're stretchy, so you can just kind of mount them up anywhere. These projector screens for cheap. They're like $20. So I got the smallest one because it's not very big. I think the screen, once it's projected onto it, it's probably around 80 inches. Still huge for one person to be watching movies. Let's take a quick break from this episode because I want to promote. Are you looking for a way to take your love of the Ray Taylor Show to the next level? Look no further than Inspire Disorder Plus. As a member, you'll get access to a whole host of amazing perks, including the full week of shows, ad-free in both audio and video versions, a live painting archive, early access to the many faces, members-only discounts and deals, a podcast back catalog with over 600 episodes. But that's not all. As a member, you'll get access to my personal blog as well as my creative writing. You'll also get the chance to ask me anything you want. With all of these benefits and more, Inspire Disorder Plus is a must-have for any fan of the Ray Taylor Show. So don't wait. Go sign up now. Head on over to inspiredisorder.com/plus and start enjoying all of the amazing perks of the membership. And now, let's get back to the show. But in the past week, that was the first thing I did on Monday this past week, right? It's something that like I dug it out a week before, kind of like ordered the things I needed to order, which really didn't. Just needed to get a screen, $20, and then I needed to get washers so I can mount it to the ceiling. Because I already had the mount. I already had everything. I already had the cables. The setup's super easy. So it's basically like from my Apple TV, I have a HDMI splitter that I used for my old podcast studio. So it goes from my Apple TV into the splitter. One HDMI from the splitter goes to the projector. The other one goes to my main TV, which I only use when I fall asleep at night. So I barely ever use that now. And then the audio goes from the TV to the soundbar. So when I watch something on my projector, I just turn the screen off, right? Modern TVs, they have like audio only setting where it turns the screen off and just plays the audio. So it's like my TV's off, but it's just because there's no optical out from my TV to plug into the soundbar. So it works perfectly. And super stoked. So like I love having it back, right? I forgot how much having a projector gets me excited to watch movies. Like I am so stoked to watch good movies. And so this week, tomorrow I'm ranking my Rocky movies. Watched, like, it's so fun to just binge the Rocky movies. Like I have my own little private movie theater, right? What is the same space where I set up my equipment to record this show is also the same space that is my screening room for this show, right? I take all the equipment out. That green screen gets swapped out with a white spandexy screen that gets strapped to the storage shelves where all of my artwork is stored, and also have my turntable and all of my vinyl albums. So it's like modular. It's amazing how many things I have packed into this very small space that I exist in, but makes it feel so much bigger because depending on what day it is and what I'm doing, I just move some things around and it becomes a completely different space. So I enjoy it, man. It was a lot of fun to to get things set up. Also, my eyes, like I notice I need new glasses, right? I normally wear glasses. I don't need them for the show. I don't need them when I paint, so I'm rarely wearing them while I recording myself anyway. So you don't see me wearing, but I wear glasses. My vision had never been that bad, but I've had glasses for majority of my life, and I've noticed my eyes have gotten worse because even with my glasses, things are getting blurry, way more than they should. And I think it's just because I'm staring at my computer screen a lot, doing a lot of editing, and also I'm getting older. So one of the nice things is having this giant screen is that the fact that my eyes are going bad isn't as much of an issue, right? So hopefully I'm able to sell some artwork and start making some more money this year and get some new glasses because I definitely need them. But I definitely missed watching movies on a projector. I'm so glad that I have it hooked up again. It just seriously makes it so, like, I'm so just, like, browsing through all the streaming services to try and find something to watch because I got way ahead on my watching of things. And, like, one, it's more immersive, obviously. It's huge. So I'm not distracted as much. I'm like in it. Watching The Northman on my projector was amazing. I'm so excited for all the different movies I'm going to watch with it, but super excited for getting it set up. I highly recommend. It's amazing. I mean, the one downside of the projector is that you have to be able to have a dark room, right? It doesn't in a living room unless you have blackout curtains. It really performs the best if you can make the room dark, right? And if you can, then you can get massive screens very easily comparatively to what you would need to spend to get that size of an LED or an LCD TV. I think they're all LED now. But amazing. Right? Amazing. I'm super it's like one of the happiest things, right? It was like a gift to myself. A gift to myself getting the projector set up. It's like now I just need to be successful. I need to make money, right? I need to improve my numbers on everything and start bringing in more revenue so that I can stay doing the things I love to do and just keep growing. And it's just like I love watching movies in that way. And plus now that I'm producing these shows in a different way, with using my notes app instead of actually taking handwritten notes when I watch movies. Everything's just, it's cut out a lot of bullshit, which this week, like last week was the first week where everything was under the new system. And then this week was kind of just almost being automatic with it. Right? Not thinking of every step of it, making sure everything gets done, like really just kind of trusting all of the things that I have set up to make sure I don't forget anything, make sure everything's done the way I need it to get done. And in prepping for this week's shows, it was pretty nice. Like, it was pretty nice to see how long it takes me to prep each episode and just how much less work is involved with it and how much more thorough everything is. So despite the fact that at the beginning of the year when everything kind of started falling apart, a bit of discouragement, a bit of a feeling like, oh man, I hope this doesn't trigger me into going into a depression, which still feels like I might be headed in that way, but had a great week, had a lot of fun watching the thing. And I've also spent this past week mentally preparing or starting my preparation for the 111 night market. So last week I hadn't found out if my application was accepted. I was paid my entry fee. So I'm ready to go for February 18th, I believe. 111 Night Market in Palm Desert from 5 o'clock to 9 o'clock. told my roommate I need to borrow the car or need to be dropped off and picked up. So everything is set aside from how I want to set up my canopy, how I'm going to display all this new artwork that I'm doing, how I want to promote the things that I'm not taking, right? So it's primarily going to be original artwork and some shirts. You know, maybe in the future I will order like shirts with my artwork on it or prints to sell, but there'll be still a range of price points, right? There'll be some smaller original paintings that you can buy for less money, right? Probably closer to $20. And then larger paintings that, you know, sell for a couple $100, few $100, right? So there's going to be a range in sizes of paintings, which will also be a range of prices, but it's primarily just going to be original artwork. And I think I figured out how I want to set everything up. I want it to be just as simple as possible. One, just to make sure, just to minimize anything going wrong, but also just to make it cohesive and not like, you know, I want everything to make sense, right? I want it to be easy to set up. I want it to easy to break down. I want to make sure it's done in a way where I'm minimizing the potential damage that can happen to my artwork, because I am taking, you know, probably close to 100 original pieces of art. I don't know how many exactly I'll take, but I'm going to take extras in case I sell, so I can make sure displays are full, to make sure, you know, everything looks good. I have everything set up through my website, so when people want to buy stuff, I don't have to worry about inventory. It's Squarespace has a thing where you can sell stuff with your Square card reader and just sell things directly from your website in person. So that is all integrated perfectly. So I don't have to worry about making sure inventories are correct and making sure I log things that have sold to make sure they're not on the website if they're not actually available to buy. Let's take a quick break from this episode because I want to talk about, are you looking for the perfect gift for that art lover in your life? Look no further than InspiredDisorder.com. Our gift cards can be used to purchase original artwork from The Many Faces, a collection of over 2,000 original abstract ink portraits. These one-of-a-kind pieces make for a truly unique and meaningful gift. But that's not all. Our gift cards can also be used to purchase high-quality prints and t-shirts featuring these amazing paintings. Plus, if the recipient is a fan of The Ray Taylor Show, they can use the gift card to purchase merchandise from the show as well. So why wait? Head on over to InspiredDisorder.com and purchase a gift card today. Your loved one will be sure to appreciate the thought and creativity behind such a unique gift. Thank you for considering InspiredDisorder.com for all of your gift needs. And now, back to the show. It's been a lot mostly brainstorming and also going through my storage stuff to dig out see what supplies I still have that I can use. And then hopefully my plan is this week, so by the time this episode comes out, my plan is to hopefully have an idea of like we'll have set up my canopy somewhere around here just to get a physical idea of how I want to lay things out, how I want to hang things, what I'm going to use to hang things. So hopefully we'll have a better view of that. But yeah, I'm super stoked. I'm excited. I'm hopeful that I will be able to sell some work. I am hopeful that it will be the work that I do show will be my first time showing my new work in public for people to see. I'm hopeful that people will receive it positively. I'm hopeful that it will allow me to do more shows in the future, not only with the 111 Night Market, but hopefully with Flat Black and hopefully with other opportunities around the valley. So I'm hopeful that it will be a good starting point. I want to make sure that I put my best foot forward the first time around, and since I have tons of experience in doing these types of things before, I want to make sure that I have it as minimal minimal effort but maximum return, right? So that's kind of been the big idea, and then just making sure that on the week that I have that the show is, one, to make sure that I'm all ready to go. I have everything ready. I know exactly what I'm going to do, but also make sure that I have everything involved with this show done ahead of time, so that that Saturday, it's usually the day where I prep this show, where I will have all that stuff done for the most part, and I won't have to worry about this show on Saturday. I can just make sure that's all done, all ready to go, focus on selling my artwork on Saturday, and then Sunday do all the production of it. So everything is going along perfectly, moving along. Projector's amazing. I have a pretty good idea of how I want everything set up. Done some sketches and written a bunch of stuff down, and I like where it's all going. So I'm excited to be participating in the 111 Night Market next February 18th from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. at the Palm Desert Mall. It is in the parking lot near Buffalo Wild Wings. So it is the parking lot that faces Highway 111. I forget that cross street, but I have a feeling it is the same parking lot that when I drove Uber and Lyft, that there was like a nice little tree that gave me shade that I would park at during the middle of the day in the summers when it's like 125 degrees outside, and I would just open my windows, turn off the engine so I'm not wasting gas, and just I had a gallon of water that I would freeze and that would slowly melt throughout the day. So I'd have nice ice cold drinking water, but I would literally drench myself in this ice water to make sure I didn't overheat, because it's ridiculously hot. But I have a feeling it's the same area of that parking lot that I used to park when I was in that area. So anyway, I'm excited for that. I'm excited for that being a successful thing for this year, and something hopefully that I will be able to do, and bring in some money to kind of extend and make sure I can afford to do all this stuff and keep putting out good stuff. So super stoked. So anyway, I want to talk about, as I do at the end of every episode, bring up something that I am thankful for. This has been a pretty positive episode, I would say, in general. But at the end of every episode, I want to bring up and highlight something that I am thankful for in my life, whether it's big or small, whatever. Just something, at least one thing that I am thankful for. And this week, I'm thankful for something small. This little, like the small pleasures of life. This week, I am thankful for incense. I've talked about my love of scented candles, or candles in general, on previous episodes, and the incense has some relations to that. Obviously, incense is way more about the smell that they put off. I love incense. It's my favorite way to fill a room with a new scent. Scented candles obviously are a good alternative to that, but I love incense. Grew up, my mom used to light incense all the time in the house. I've always used incense to kind of cover up bad odors or whatever, or just to change the ambiance of a room. But yeah, this week, incense. I've been burning a lot of incense lately. Obviously, candles are pretty expensive comparatively. Incense, very inexpensive. And I love all the different smells, right? And I love the whole idea of like aromatherapy. Different scents will kind of make you feel different things, can kind of change your mood in different ways. Like lavender, very much in connection with kind of relaxation and a feeling of calm. So whether it's the Nag Champa brand or scent of incense, I don't think I've found an incense that I didn't like. I'm sure there's one out there that is in some way offensive, but maybe patchouli. I never really liked the smell of patchouli oil, and I don't know if I've tried patchouli incense, but whether it's like sage, lavender, citronella even, I enjoy. And there's, a lot of different interesting, like red dragon and like weird names for them, but I love incense, man. And it's just a great low-cost kind of a alternative, I would say, to scented candles, right? And like I said, I've never found one that I didn't like. Versus there's definitely been candles that I've gotten that almost remind me of Axe body spray, which isn't an offensive smell necessarily, but definitely I've gotten some candles that put off a smell that I don't like, is way too artificial or way too, in some cases, even too feminine, which is pretty rare. I don't mind certain feminine floral scents, but I've definitely found some candles that were like, okay, I don't want to get that. But I haven't, never, as of yet, never found a incense that I didn't like. But, you know, a great way to set the mood, a great way to, if you're into the aromatherapy or whatever, you know, different smells triggering different emotions. I'm all about that, and I love it, and it's something, because I've been using it so much lately, I figured why not highlight it on this show. So this week, I'm thankful for incense. But that's it. You know, I'm also thankful for the opportunity to connect with you and share my thoughts on this podcast, and for the chance to share my journey with you as well. Please join the conversation by leaving a comment or rating on your favorite podcast platform or on YouTube if you are watching these episodes. But thank you again for tuning in, and I'll see you next week, next Saturday specifically, for another episode of Rayz Dayz.
New episodes of The Ray Taylor Show come out every single day. Subscribe on YouTube and everywhere our podcasts are found. Binge the full week over at inspireddisorder.com/plus. Buy Ray Taylor Show merch over at inspireddisorder.com. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Peace out!
Today is the day where you wake up and you realize that everything that you've been dreaming about, everything that you've been wanting, every goal and wish and hope that you've ever had can become real. Dreams can come true. What you manifest in your mind, you can bring to reality.